What if building and maintaining an anime physique was actually the easiest thing you could ever do? 7 years ago, I was skinny fat, and in just a few months, I completely changed my physique. I didn't do it by spending hours in the gym or eating dry-ass chicken 24/7. The best part is, I've barely had to think about it since. And it's all because of one Japanese rule, Shitsuke, that me and all your favorite anime characters follow. So in this video, I'm gonna show you why it makes building an anime physique surprisingly easy, and how to use it so your results stick forever with little to no effort. Alright, so what even is Shitsuke? It basically means that you practice the correct behavior until it becomes second nature, and you don't even have to think about it anymore. And this whole concept is the reason why it's so powerful for building an anime physique, because it's not just about getting the results once, it's about preventing you from returning to old habits and sustaining those results forever, automatically, with little effort, because we don't got time for that, not in this economy. Shitsuke, it was originally developed for kids to behave properly, but today, you are all my children, and I'm going to teach you how to behave and maintain your anime physique, literally for the rest of your life. First step, well, we've got to build the physique first, because you can't maintain what you don't have. And now some of you might be thinking, oh, this is going to take years. If you follow the steps in this video exactly, you're going to notice changes within the first few months and big changes within the first 6. But before we even jump into the first rep, if you want this to last forever, you need the right mindset first, which is why the first principle of Shitsuke is no forced power-ups. Think about Sung Jin-woo at the beginning of Solo. E-rank hunter, no aura. Bro was just getting folded by life. Now, if Jinwoo's plan was, I'm just gonna use big willpower and go into the dungeons like a maniac, sure, for a while he'd push past his weakness. But eventually, he will get crushed. And he did get crushed. The better solution in this scenario was never willpower, brute forcing your way into this thing. The better solution in this case was the system forcing him to level up slowly over time, forcing him to show up, train, optimize his stats, and ultimately level up. That's the exact lesson with Shitsuke. Some people in the beginning of their journey rely heavily on willpower to go from 0 to 100. And while willpower is great, it does become exhausting to use 24/7, and then suddenly out of nowhere, we're skipping workouts, we're eating cheat meals, and we're wondering why we're in the same place we started. Think about the guys on The Biggest Loser. They lose an insane amount of weight, but then they gain it back within the next few months. Not because they weren't locked in, not because they lacked willpower, but because they never built the habits to maintain the results. The easiest path to a sustainable physique is to build habits so automatic that you don't even debate it. So what does that actually look like in real life? First things first, don't start by obsessing over the perfect workout program. Start by obsessing over the habit of just showing up every day. Don't think, oh, I need the most optimal split. Ho ho. Think, I need something that I can repeat over and over like a psychopath. Practically speaking, this is what it looks like. Set a minimum standard that's so low that it would be impossible for you to fail. That could be 10 minutes per day, do some resistance training, or doing 3 sets of 3 exercises. Or it's having a workout streak for multiple days throughout the week, throughout consecutive weeks, and make it super stupidly simple for you to actually start, because the goal in the beginning isn't perfection, it's consistency. And once you've locked in the habit, well, you basically already won. But once you have the right mindset, we now need to jump into the principle that makes building an anime physique a whole lot easier. Because most people think that the answer is having the conditions perfect, having the right equipment, the right amount of motivation, and the most optimized exercises, science-backed things to do so that your titties grow bigger. But that optimization isn't what's going to build that anime physique. It's actually the second principle that cements everything. And that principle is called the domain decides. Just like how a domain expansion in JJK can turn a fight, so can your domain turn the tide of how your anime physique comes to fruition. Yeah, that's a good one. Now, years ago, I used to go to a gym. Oh, sugar, wow. And not just any gym, it had everything. Dumbbells, machines, benches, barbells, treadmills, sauna, pool, change room, water fountain. Oh my god, a water fountain. And to any gym bro, it sounds like a paradise, like the perfect place to build an anime physique. Yet somehow, despite having access to that, despite having access to every possible tool I could have, after a couple of weeks, I stopped going. And for the life of me, I could not figure out why. Fast forward a bit, I want to get back into shape. I discover something beautiful called calisthenics. Oh my. And I had literally nothing. It was just me, an unfinished basement. I did pull-ups on a girder that dug into my hands. And yet, for some reason, that was the moment everything clicked. I started actually being consistent. I started to actually notice changes within the first few months. And it's the method I carried throughout my entire anime physique journey. So what changed? How did I go from not getting results with all of the optimal tools to getting all of the results with almost nothing? Now, it wasn't a change in my program and it wasn't a change in motivation. It was simply the domain was a lot better for me. When I had my gym membership, I had to change into gym clothes, I had to pack my gym bag, I had to step out the door, get into the car, drive to the gym, park, and then step through the doors, warm up, and finally I gotta wait for a bench press, and then I can start working out. When I had calisthenics, I could just go downstairs to the basement, rep out on the floor. I could freaking do it naked if I wanted to, and then that was it. I think sometimes we forget that you are gym. Been a while since I said that. Because you don't need the perfect setup as long as the environment that you're working in is low friction. Physique prioritizes environment way more than it does like doing the optimal thing. Now, I'm not saying you have to do calisthenics, although it is superior. Fight me in the comments. But when your workout space is literally just 2 steps away, how much easier can that actually get? But that begs the question, how do you actually build that frictionless environment so that you can get an anime physique with 0 equipment? First off, you have to use compound movements that hit multiple muscles at the same time. Pull-ups hitting the back and biceps, push-ups hitting the chest and triceps, and pistol squats, glutes and quads. Second, you want to always be training close, if not to failure, because that's what's actually going to grow your muscles. And make sure you're training a muscle group frequently enough so it actually does grow, around 10 sets for that muscle group per week at least. This is why compounds, again, are so handy, because they tackle everything at once. And keep it as simple as possible. Follow a simple push-pull leg split if you work out 5 days a week. If you can't do that, go for an upper-lower split. And of course, start with exercises that are easy to pick up but challenging enough for you to do. And the most underrated part of your environment is honestly the people around you. When I was working out, I didn't have anybody. I was alone in the basement, just doing my own thing, naked doing push-ups. And if I actually had a community around me, not while I'm naked, I probably would have gotten results so much quicker. And that's the entire point of my Shonen Strength community. It's literally the 90-day system that I use to build my anime physique, plus a community of anime nerds trying to accomplish the same thing together. And since I want to give you what I never got, every week I host Q&A calls where I answer your questions, we vibe, talk about anime, we get deep into the philosophies of how to become a better human being. It's tons of fun. Links in the description if you want to join. Okay, so now we've actually built some consistency and you've set up your environment, aka you're building your anime physique. But here's the thing, building is only half of the story. Most guys will actually fall off even after getting results because they don't respect this next principle, the sacred floor. Think about Itadori Yuji in the Shibuya arc. By every definition of the word, he failed. Citizens died, friends injured or dead, Sukuna wreaking havoc, not giving a damn. He failed and he knew it. But in one particular area, he did not break. He kept moving, just like a cog in a machine. And because he never gave up on that standard, to keep going, to keep protecting, to keep serving, he managed to come out victorious in the end. He defeated Mahito. That standard that you witnessed in that arc is the sacred floor, the point where you refuse to fall below. And all anime characters have one, a moral principle, a standard, a baseline, a guide that is the minimum for them, that even when they fail, they will never fall below that. Should they fall below it, they let themselves down. This is why you guys need a sacred floor too. You need to set that baseline standard that is so sacred you cannot fall below it. Whether that's how you look, your strength level, how frequently you train, what foods you eat for your diet, or even your personal habits or behavior. Basically, you have these expectations that you just cannot break, or else you've destroyed your sacred floor. Now, the sacred floor doesn't have to be so high that you have to pressure yourself to keep that standard. It could be as low as possible and as low as you want, just as long as this is what you stand for and actually kind of makes you proud. It's like if you were at the floor, you'd be okay staying here. And finding that baseline is what's going to help make your anime physique super maintainable with the least amount of effort possible. So here's how you can find yours. Ask yourself this: what is the minimal amount of physical change, activity frequency, or level of strength that would make you happy for the rest of your life? That could be, oh, I still want to be able to do 10 pull-ups, I want to maintain a pretty good V-taper, and I want to stay lean enough to see my abs. Doesn't matter what it is. Again, it's your personal choice, but as long as you're happy with this baseline. Now, once you have your sacred floor, that's going to be this next stepping stone to maintain your anime physique forever. And it's all about following the fourth principle story over climax. I want you to imagine two anime plot lines. Plot A sounds like this. The peak of the show, the climax. It's one of the greatest ones you've ever seen. For lack of a better term, absolute cinema. It draws your attention. It's suspenseful. It is gripping. But for the rest of the series, and even the whole series before that, it's bland. It's boring. It's full of filler. Basically, the only good part of this plotline was this peak. Plot B, on the other hand, sounds like this. The entire show, its baseline level is solid. It's good. Each episode is fire. Every episode is relevant. There's literally no filler. But the peak, it's not as good as plot A. However, the entire show was enjoyable from start to finish. Now, which one would you personally watch? Weirdos will pick A, but I think most people will pick B. And that's exactly what you need to be doing when you're following Shitsuke. Here's what most people don't realize. Building the anime physique, that was the hard part, but maintaining it is significantly easier. A lot of people think that in order to maintain the physique, they need to work out just as hard as they did to get it. But those guys just ending up doing more work than they need to. So if your goal is just to coast along life with a nice body, you're wasting time and effort chasing that peak rather than just focusing on maintaining that baseline. That's why it's important to understand what is your baseline. What are you happy with? Because you need to know what you're maintaining so you know how to maintain it. Now, generally speaking, how many days a week does it actually take to maintain your current physique? Does it take 5? Does it take 4? 3? Well, it actually only takes 2. 2 full body training sessions that you can do per week. So long as the intensity is there, and so long as you're putting in the effort to your whole physique, you can coast and maintain for the rest of your life. Now, I'm not saying to only ever do the minimum, or that doing more than the minimum is wrong. If you love training, you want to push further, you want to get stronger, you want to look better, go for it. I highly encourage it. It's what I do. But if your goal is just get jacked and maintain it forever, it's surprisingly such a little amount of work. If you want, here's a free sample full body calisthenics program that I would use to maintain my physique. Pause here, write it down, and but even when maintaining that standard is easy, life still happens. Vacation, going out to eat with friends, or missing a workout because you genuinely got busy. And that's okay, but this is how most people spiral, and it's how they step out of maintenance and then they break their sacred flow, which is why the 5th principle of Shitsuke is entering the persona. Take a look at Light Yagami. Before the Death Note, he was just a chill, smart guy, mundane life. And then when he picked up the Death Note, oh boy, did it get intense. The moment he realized what he could do, he didn't even try to be different. He just became different. His identity completely shifted from mundane student to this god complex savior of a new society. He became Kira. Now, obviously, minus the whole killing thousands of criminals, which you can debate whether or not that was a good idea. Not in my comment section, you're not. But the lesson in that identity is one that we can take with us. Light didn't just follow a set of rules. He became a different kind of person, and he had to in order to achieve what he wanted to achieve. And that level of identity shifting is what's going to help you guys never fall off again. You're going to stop thinking of yourself as the guy who works out. You just become somebody who trains, somebody who is healthy, someone who has good habits. Full stop. That is exactly who you are. And when your identity shifts like that, missing workouts actually feels weird. Eating junk food feels strange and feels bad. And staying consistent every single day starts to feel normal. It's just who you are. And that's ultimately what Shitsuke is all about. Doing something so many times that it just becomes normal. And it starts with how you see yourself. One of the easiest ways to install yourself a new identity is by journaling. Write down who you want to become, reflect on the steps that you're taking to become that person, and then start living like that person right now. But the hard truth is that for some of you, these principles are just never going to work. Because if your inner biology is actually working against you and you don't have enough testosterone to actually build the muscle and work hard, none of this, I repeat, none of this is going to matter. So check out this video right here if you want to learn to fix your biology and optimize your testosterone for an anime physique.